What's up? It's your boy Heaven Hollywood back on the IE Network. It is Friday, and that means it is Cardi Day. The Cardi Party. Let's begin. All the Cardi B fans, all the shout out, all the Barty gang. And like I said, our little artist spotlights, we just going to give them their flowers and give you any updates on what's going on and any updated accolades. So this is for the fans these days. I'll give all the everything tea on the artist during my Heaven Hollywood report. So one thing we want to go over first and foremost out the gate is Cardi B did state that her song, her lead single, is on its way very, very, very soon. Is her words that she used. A lot of people speculating it's going to be the 27th of May. Which would be next Friday. So we're going to see if it's going to be that. I did say in the beginning I believe it was going to be May. So by next week you might get that single. If not, definitely has to come first week of June. The big thing that's been going around lately for Barty Gang is Cardi's, your fave's impact on hip hop and impact on the culture. So a lot of people that are anti-Cardi B was saying, "Oh, she's not impactful. She has no impact on the culture. She has no influence on the culture." That, judging from people that I speak to, is totally false. Right? So, of course, you're gonna have people who don't think she has any impact on the culture because they don't like her for whatever reason. However, I spoke to Chuck Creedmoor, when I was doing my, research for this or what have you. And I just wanted to get someone from the industry's, their outlook on this whole thing. I asked about the impact and stuff like that. Now, if you don't know who Chuck Creedmoor is, you can look him up. If you want to validate who he is or what have you. And he is a staple in hip hop history. He's actually the founder of all hip hop, right? And he stated, he said, how can someone who came from loving hip hop and to make the biggest splash, her career to make the biggest splash from a reality show that was thought of rappers that were washed up, they go to Love and Hip Hop. She was the first person that was not a washed up art, a new act that came to Love and Hip Hop and blew up. He said, so it used to be the other way around, right? So he said a lot of people have issues with, her, and a lot of purists have issues with her being a rapper, and they don't consider her a legitimate rapper, what have you. But Chuck said they do have to realize that she put out mixtapes before she was in the game. So it's not like she's just some industry plant who popped up out of nowhere, right? He also did tell me that, we got a lot of those, right? So he basically said, I'm going to get my notes. He basically said, that Cardi had a, amazing come up, right? And he said a lot of rap purists have issues with her, but he, meeting her, she's very relatable. And what happened is she became very relatable to the Latino girls, very influential on the Latina girls, who Chuck even said Latina girls have always been, even though they're minorities, they've always been reluctant to try to rap. Right? He said they've always been reluctant to try to rap because there's some that do have strong accents and maybe looked upon as illiterate and things like that. And he said, but when they saw that she was able to make it, that's influential in itself. He also spoke on her fashion sense. He said, right now, if you ask anybody in the industry, who's the best dressed female rapper in the game. He said probably 99% of them are going to say Cardi. You know, her fashion is different. You know, back in the 90s, it was more like Little Kim. And Little Kim can still dress, don't get me wrong. But the fitting of her clothes don't look the same. And of course, Little Kim isn't working with the same sort of budget now that she was working with in the 90s. So it's kind of hard to keep up, with, the other girls. I also asked him about the payola situation. I was like, do you want to add on to that about, people saying that her singles, anti-Cardi people saying that her single number ones are not legit because she uses payola. Chuck Creedmoor, pretty much agreed with what I said. He was like, well, the first thing is, if a record label is going to use payola, right? He said after there was a court session about 4 years ago where Universal Records had gotten into major trouble, and they had to go through a settlement to settle out this court case. Said, if record labels even find now behind closed doors that their artist is using payola, behind the back, of course, the labels can't do it at all. So like I said, it's illegal. You get fined for that now. So no label's going to try to risk that, right? I also asked him about the whole playlisting. They said that is not considered payola. That is whatever you have in your budget. Anybody can do that, right? If the label is willing to pay for ads and pay for ads, that's what happens. That's kind of like the back and forth. You buy an ad, you know what I'm saying? You get playlisting. But anybody can do that. So it's all about what the label is willing to put forth for their artists. Right? So, but that's not, oh yeah, I give you a certain amount of money and then you play the record. That's payola. That's not existing. I also had to bring up to him about the $60,000 because that's what everybody always seems to bring up. And he said, it's not considered payola because she was not signed to a deal. That was her own money. And back then, DJs were doing that. She didn't even have a record deal then. And that was a play to get, I don't know whether it was Bodak Yellow. It may have been Bodak Yellow to get that on the radio. And that only worked for one time. You pay them some money. They played the record one time on the Rap Attack or during whatever that era is. So he said, make no mistake about it. She definitely is impactful, and she definitely has an influence on the culture. Cardi B fans have to remember one thing. What you have to do is just simply indulge and be grateful about what she can do. Don't concentrate on what she can do. Don't let people steal your joy about your fave and say, oh, she can't rap, she uses payola, she uses, those, people that don't like Cardi B, they're going to reach for those excuses because that's the only thing they have left now. She's never going to be a lyrical genius. She's never going to be a 5-flow dynamo, but she knows that. So if someone says, oh, she is not the best rapper or she can't rap, you shouldn't let that upset you because what you have to do is concentrate on what she does, and that is make hit records. To be out really about only 5 years, since Bodak Yellow, to have 5 number one records, to have 3 diamond records and what, about to be 4? She's about to be on her 4th diamond record. That's incredible. 4 diamond records in 5 years. Also, we spoke about W.A.P. You know, I asked him about when they said culture shift. He said it was absolutely a culture shift because he said you have to remember something. W.A.P. did not have radio play. No place would play it on radio. Said so for that record to have gotten what it got, the views that it got, almost 1 million views an hour on YouTube for the first 24 hours. And then for it to go number one and stay number one for as many weeks as it did, with virtually basically no airplay, he said, of course that's a culture shift. Because I asked him about Cardi making that comment. He said, of course it was a culture shift. Like, how can you not consider that? I mean, they played it at the election when Joe Biden won. I mean, you had people in Pennsylvania, for Christ's sakes, out in the streets dancing the W.A.P. Right? So he feels as though, and Chuck Creedmoor is a staple in hip hop, he feels as though everything is legit. Right? She's a little unconventional, but she said she was going to be unconventional. She said all she really cares about is getting on the charts and making her legacy that way. So, and as upcoming weeks come, we'll be getting into, some more of Cardi's, I got some backstories, like some things, some good stories that's happened, some tea that a lot of y'all might not know about, 4 and 5 and 6 years ago. So let's get into, over the week, what Cardi B accomplished on the thing that she does best, and that's the charts. So I see Invasion of Privacy once again. What was it? 185. I think it was number 185. So that's 215 weeks that Invasion of Privacy has been on the charts. That's incredible. We also see that W.A.P. is at, I believe now it's about 9.9 million. That's crazy. So W.A.P. is going to be going diamond this year. It's already eligible for diamond already, but it's going to officially be going diamond this year. Unbelievable. All right, and the only other thing we have on her, let's see. Oh, there was something else. Oh, so Fast and Furious, she will be in that. That's the next installment of that. There's also another film in the works, and from what I hear, it's about Hispanic women gangsters. It's a film. She's going to be playing allegedly one of the gangsters in the movie. What else? Of course, tune in to Cardi Tries. She's got Megan Thee Stallion coming up. She's also going to be on David Letterman. On the David Letterman, our next guest needs no introduction. And yeah, be on the lookout for that new single, man. Next week, we'll be getting into some more Cardi stuff. Barty Gang, be proud about your queen, your fave. Give her flowers, man. We'll see y'all next week. It's your boy Heaven Hollywood. It's been the Cardi Party.